We are charged to protect these kids.
Go. I'm a police officer for North Minneapolis and coach for the North High School. Go. These kids don't trust cops.
It's definitely a difficult time right now.
Kind of weird, but I'm building bonds with police.
The violence is nonstop. You can hear the gunshots. When them lights flicker at 7 o'clock, you ain't hearing none of that.
It's getting more exciting by the day from the standpoint of this main event Saturday night.
This is the official press conference for Davis versus Garcia.
I've said it, I'll say it again. I think Gervonta, pound for pound, is one of the best fighters in the sport. Hector's ready. It's going to be an all-time classic.
This ain't no tune-up right here. This a fight. This is what we made for.
Saturday night, you definitely don't want to miss this one. This one's going to be a tough fight on his end.
Hector?
Tell the people why you took this challenge.
I took this challenge because I always want to surpass my own limits and go after the very best.
Put your seatbelt on, because Gervonta Tank Davis is going to bring that heat that night. Everybody put their hands up saying this kid ain't getting his props like he's supposed to be getting.
So I give Tank all the props in the world. Pound for pound, he's one of the best fighters in the world. For me, I give him this props.
He definitely ain't looking past this guy. He's tough. This will prepare me for the Ryan fight.
I'm the real Garcia. I don't care who he's focused on because I know I'm the true challenge.
The last word I want to say to Hector, just be ready. Just don't make a lot of mistakes, because if you make too many, it might be an early night.
The nation's capital will serve as the fight capital of the boxing world come Saturday night when unbeaten Gervonta Tank Davis takes his traveling roadshow to here, Washington, D.C., and the unbeaten challenge of world champion Hector Luis Garcia on Saturday's Showtime pay-per-view card. I'm Brian Campbell. Welcome on in with weigh-in coverage of Saturday's Garcia versus Davis. I've got a 4-pack of a dream team with me to do the coverage today. On the far right, your left, Luke Thomas, my partner in crime on the award-winning Showtime Digital Series Morning Combat.
Don't forget that part.
Speaking of Showtime Digital, we have 2003 NBA World Champion and one half of all the smoke. It's Steven Jackson. And you know this man right here. El Diamante, the former world champion, the 1992 U.S. Olympian. Yeah. It is Raul Marquez. And gentlemen, the fighters will be stepping on the scales behind us in just a few minutes. The final time to face off. But it's not just Tank Davis on the marquee on this pay-per-view return as Showtime pay-per-view returns to D.C. We've got Jaron Boots Ennis in the co-main. We've got Rashidi Ellis versus a hungry Royman Villa. We have Demetrius Andrade making his move to PBC. A loaded card with no shortage of storylines. But Raul, for Gervonta Davis, he's going to have to show us that he can press pause on a very tumultuous couple weeks for him outside the ring and keep the focus on the job at hand against Hector Luis Garcia. How live of a dog is the unbeaten Dominican Republican fighter?
Oh, trust me, that's a hell of a question. You know, that's what people have been asking me all along. I believe truly in the whole amateur background, and Hector Garcia was an Olympian. He had over 300 amateur fights. This is a guy that is definitely live. I see this fight as a 60-40, maybe a 50-50 fight. Why? Because this is a guy that fought in tournaments, fought different styles as an amateur, and he could adjust to any type of style. He's very skillful, and I think he's going to give Tank a hell of a fight. It's not going to be easy for Tank.
Stack, quickly here before we throw it to the stage, Gervonta has a tough challenge. We can't be talking about Ryan Garcia until we get through Hector Luis Garcia. You've had to play before in some big games on the high level when maybe things outside of the game were eating at you.
Definitely.
How hard is that to do exactly what I said, press pause and focus come Saturday night?
Well, I think the thing about it, basketball is my sanctuary. So this is his sanctuary to be in there, get in there and fight. You know, a lot of things happen that we don't have control over. But at the end of the day, when we get a chance to play, to use the skills and our gifts and go out there and play the sport that we love, it kind of takes us away from everything. With Tank, I think the greatest thing was him and his girl was able to mend things. So coming into this fight, I think he's feeling good and ready to go.
And Luke Thomas, Hector Luis Garcia's team Trainer Bob Santos had a heck of a year himself. They say, we're willing to make this a fight of the year. We're willing to walk through hell to get this done. What are your expectations for Saturday?
Well, they've said all the right things all week. Bob Santos has been incredibly special, I think, and unique voice this whole time. Listen, not only is he saying that they're going to rise to the challenge, they're not undercutting the challenge. They give Tank his props as a pound-for-pound fighter. Right. They give Tank his props, not just for his power, but for his fight IQ, all the things he can do. They're not saying it's an easy challenge. They're just saying they're up for it. I love that kind of talk.
We'll be back after the end of the weigh-in for interviews, for analysis, and for all that. But for now, it's time for the fighters to step to the scale. Let's throw it up to the stage to Miguel Flores.
And welcome to the nation's capital here in Washington, D.C. as Premier Boxing Champions presents our official weigh-in for tomorrow's exciting night of Showtime pay-per-view card. It is all brought to you by TGB Promotions, GTD Promotions, and Showtime. Sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. We will begin our official weigh-ins with our Showtime Countdown pay-per-view portion of the card, and it is going to be streamed at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time on the Showtime Sports YouTube page. First up to the scale, 6 rounds in the super welterweight division out of Davenport, Iowa, with 7 victories, 4 by knockout, opposite of 2 defeats and 1 draw. Here is Sean, the Exception West. And now we welcome his opponent out of Capitol Heights, Maryland. His record undefeated, 6 victories, including 5 by knockout. Here is Trevon Sniper Marshall. All right, first up onto the scales, once again out of Davenport, Iowa. Here is Sean West. 151.2. 151.2 for West. And now we welcome the hard-hitting, undefeated knockout artist, Trevon Sniper Marshall. $149.8 for Marshall. Six rounds in the super welterweight division, live on the Showtime pay-per-view countdown show tomorrow night from Capital One Arena. Trevon Sniper Marshall taking on Sean, the Exception West. And now we continue our official weigh-in with 8 rounds in the super lightweight division. Coming to the stage now out of Cordoba, Argentina, with 21 victories, 10 by knockout, opposite of 10 defeats and 2 draws. Here is Diego Luque. And now introducing his opponent out of La Quinta, California. His record unblemished, 26 victories with 22 wins by knockout. He is a rising star, the undefeated Brandon Lee. And now first up to the scale, we welcome Diego Luque. 141.2, 141.2 for Luque. And now we welcome the talented, undefeated Brandon Lee. .4, 141.4 for Lee.
Thank you.
Eight rounds in the super lightweight division. Diego Luque taking on the undefeated Brandon Lee.
TVs in the back, guys. TVs on top. Thank you, gentlemen.
And now we head to our super welterweight division. First up to the stage, we welcome out of Houston, Texas, by way of Jalisco, Mexico, with 9 victories, opposite of 1 defeat and 1 draw, with 5 wins by knockout. Here is Omar El Charo Rosales. And now we welcome out of Roseland, New Jersey, with 13 victories, with 8 wins by knockout and just 1 blemish. Here is White Magic, Vito Melnick Jr. And now first up onto the scale, once again, Omar El Charo Rosales. 152.8, 152.8 for Rosales. And now getting set to step onto the scale. Once again, he is a rising star, Vito Melnick Jr. 153.2 for White Magic, Vito Melnick Jr. Live from Capital One Arena on the Showtime Sports YouTube page, it is White Magic Vito Melnick Jr. taking on Omar Rosales.
TVs in the back, guys. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will now turn things over to the Hall of Famer and legendary voice, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Thank you. Very kind of you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you, and we welcome you. Premier Boxing Champions continues with our official weigh-in for our big night of action. This time we move into the pay-per-view portion of our big night of action, taking place once again at the Capital One Arena here in Washington, D.C. Brought to you by GTD Promotions, TGB Promotions, and Showtime Pay-Per-View. Well, fans, our night is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. Bet $5 and win $200 if your fighter wins. Action so good, why bet on boxing anywhere else? And Universal Pictures Knock at the Cabin, only in theaters February the 3rd. Well, our pay-per-view portion features our main event of the evening, 12 rounds for the WBA Lightweight Championship of the World. Of course, that's Gervonta Davis taking on Hector Luis Garcia. At this time, let's bring out our fighters for our opening pay-per-view attraction, 10 rounds in a super middleweight special attraction. First, please welcome from Laurel, Maryland. He's a battle-ready super middleweight world rank contender, Demond "The Best at It" Nicholson. And we invite his opponent to the stage at this time from Providence, Rhode Island. The former two-division champion of the world. He'll be making his super middleweight debut. Here is Demetrius "Boo Boo" Andrade. Well, as our fighters getting ready to step onto the scale, reminding you we start at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for our pay-per-view portion. That's 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And now first to the scale for our 10-round super middleweight special attraction with 22 knockouts in his 26 wins. Here is the hard-hitting world-ranked super middleweight contender, Demond "The Best at It" Nicholson. 167 and 1/4 pounds, 167 and 1/4 pounds. And his opponent in our opening pay-per-view attraction with a fine record of 31-0, 19 knockouts. Here is the undefeated former super welterweight and middleweight champion of the world, Demetrius "Boo Boo" Andrade. 167 pounds, 167 for Demetrius "Boo Boo" Andrade. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. It opens up our pay-per-view event of boxing. Demetrius "Boo Boo" Andrade versus Demond "The Best at It" Nicholson. 10 rounds of boxing super middleweight special attraction. All right, fans, here we go. Continuing with our official weigh-in. Premier Boxing Champions continues with our next bout coming your way. It's a world title eliminator presented in association with Samson Boxing. We invite first to the stage the power puncher from Barranquitas, Venezuela. Knockout-minded contender here is Flaco de Oro, Royman Villa. And his opponent we invite to the stage at this time from Lynn, Massachusetts. He's the undefeated world-ranked contender making his Showtime debut. Please welcome Speedy Rashidi Ellis. And our fighters are ready to step onto the scale. This is for the IBF welterweight world title eliminator. Weight limit on this fight is a very strict 147 pounds. First to the scale with a fine record of 25 wins, only one loss, with 24 wins coming by way of knockout. Here's the hard-hitting welterweight contender, Royman Flaco de Oro Villa. 145 3/4 pounds, 145 3/4 for Royman Villa. And now his opponent with a fine record of 24 wins, no losses, with 14 knockouts to his credit. Here is the undefeated IBF world rank contender, Speedy Rashidi Ellis. $146 1/4 pounds, 146 1/4 pounds for Speedy Rashidi Ellis. And there they are, ladies and gentlemen. Don't miss the action. This is for the IBF welterweight world title eliminator. Speedy Rashidi Ellis versus Royman Flaco de Oro Villa. All right, fans, here we go. Premier Boxing Champions continues with the official weigh-in. This time we present our co-main event of the evening. It is presented in association with D&D Boxing. It's an interim world title attraction in the welterweight division. Presenting first to the stage at this time, fighting out of Germany by way of Kyiv, Ukraine. He is the IBF number 4 ranked welterweight in the world. Please welcome Karen Chukadjan. And now making his way to the stage from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He is the IBF number 1 welterweight rank contender. Here is the undefeated welterweight sensation, Gervonta Boots Ennis. Fighters ready to step onto the scale at this time. First with a record of 20 wins, 1 loss and 11 knockouts, making his Showtime debut. The world-ranked welterweight contender from Ukraine, Karen Chukadjan. 146 1/4 pounds, a ready 146 1/4 pounds for Karen Chukadjan. And now his opponent with a tremendous record of 29 wins, no losses, 1 no decision, with 27 big wins coming by way of knockout. He is the young star of boxing, the hard-hitting welterweight top contender, introducing Gervonta Boots Ennis. Already 145.5 pounds for Gervonta Boots Ennis. 145.5 pounds. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to miss this showdown in the welterweight division. It is for the IBF welterweight interim world title. Number 1 in the world versus number 4 in the world. Jaron Boots Ennis versus Karen Chukadjan. There'll be no separating them tomorrow, as this is our co-main event of the evening. 12 rounds IBF welterweight world title eliminator. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Premier Boxing Champions presents the official weigh-in for our featured bout of the evening, brought to you by GTD Promotions, TGB Promotions, and Showtime Pay-Per-View, sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. Bet $5 and win $200 if your fighter wins. Action so good, why bet on boxing anywhere else? And Universal Pictures Knock at the Cabin, only in theaters February the 3rd. Well, fans, this is a battle of undefeated world champions in our main event. 12 rounds for the WBA Lightweight Championship of the World. Introducing first to the stage from San Juan de la Maguana in the Dominican Republic. He is moving up in weight and challenging for the lightweight title. Here is the current WBA Super Flyweight Champion of the World, Hector Luis El Andrade Garcia. And his opponent ready to step onto the stage at this time from nearby Baltimore, Maryland. He's the defending world champion and the popular star of boxing, the 5-time 3-division champion of the world, Gervonta Tank Davis.
Oh, my fault. My fault.
Our main event, ladies and gentlemen, has a strict weight limit of 135 pounds, 12 rounds for the WBA Lightweight Championship of the World. First to the scale with a record of 16-0, 3 no contests with 10 wins coming by way of knockout. He's the challenger and the newly crowned WBA Super Featherweight Champion of the World, Hector Luis El Andrade Garcia.
Even.
134 pounds, 134 for Hector Luis Garcia. And now here he is, ladies and gentlemen, with a record of 27 wins, no losses, with 25 knockouts. The boxing sensation, undefeated and defending WBA lightweight champion of the world, Gervonta Tank Davis.
Even.
134 pounds, a ready 134 pounds for Gervonta Tank Davis.
How you doing? Good weights on all of them. Yeah.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's the highly anticipated main event of the evening. Both of them undefeated, both of them world champions in their own division. This one's for the WBA Lightweight Championship of the World. Gervonta "Tank" Davis versus Hector Luis "El Andrade" Garcia.
She's coming up and
back at it here. Brian Campbell, Raul Marquez, Steven Jackson, and Luke Thomas. The weights are in. The main event is set. Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Hector Luis Garcia. Some intense stares, gentlemen. No acrimony, though, from a physical standpoint. We'll save that for Saturday night. But both, Raul, main eventers. At or below that 135-pound limit, we will see a fight Saturday night.
Oh, they look ready. They're in shape. I mean, they know what's at stake, and they want to win impressively. You know, for Tank, you know, he's probably looking for another knockout. He's only gone the distance twice. We know him for his explosiveness, for his high rail knockouts. And Hector Garcia, man, he wants to spoil the plans for Tank Davis against Ryan Garcia. See what happens.
Big plans ahead. He's got to get through this test. Steven Jackson, when we talk about the mindset of a professional athlete, I've been trying to read Gervonta this week. He seems cool and calm. He's been able to separate the outside the ring stuff from what's going to happen inside of it. I see that the wired-in nature he needs to be. He's put respect on Hector Luis Garcia's name all week. You see anything in terms of how he's handled himself?
Well, I mean, Tank's a professional now, you know, taking over his own, taking control of his career. You know, everything he's going through, he knows he has to show up in this ring. And like I said, ever since the Gamboa fight, I've seen a different Tank. He's been focused, he's been training different, and he's been taking the sport more serious. So I just see another Tank that's ready to get the job done.
BC, I'd also just add here real quickly, we've seen, I mean, I'm not saying you should praise him for it, but we've seen Tank miss 135 before.
Right.
Made it no problem. Didn't need a second attempt. Looked ready to go. Again, that's what you're supposed to be doing, but that's what I'm saying. He's not cutting any of the other training corners as best we can tell.
Right.
When you look at this matchup, such an interesting one. We know the amateur background, the Olympic pedigree of one Hector Luis Garcia. But Raul, I feel like he's shown us in the close-ups that we've had with him this week that he can box. That's his background, but he's tried to establish as a professional that he can walk you down, wear you down, and stop you, which he nearly was able to do in an upset of unbeaten prospect Chris Colbert last year. When you look at which identity potentially serves Garcia better in this matchup with Tank, is it the boxer, is it the puncher, or is it somewhere in the middle?
I think he's got to mix it up. You know, he even said in the fighter meetings he's going to fight at short range, mid range, and long range. You got to remember he's the taller guy with the longer reach, so he's got to establish a good jab. He's got to, you know, have a high output with punches. He can't just let Gervonta sit there and set traps and think, because Gervonta is the kind of guy that'll sit there. He'll even let you win some rounds. He'll let you, you know, you might hit him with a good right hook or left hook, let you grow, let you get confident. So in the way Garcia attacks, he's got to be very calculated, very smart the way he comes forward. He's got to attack at different angles and not just come forward like a Pitbull Cruz would come forward or Mario Barrios or Leo Santa Cruz. I think Hector Garcia is by far the best fighter that Tank Davis has fought up until now.
Putting some respect on that name. We'll have more on this fantastic main event shortly, but how about this co-main event? And how about the stare, the cold ice stare from rising unbeaten welterweight? It's Gerard.
I think they have the same glasses.
Boots Ennis, Philadelphia in the house. Karen Chukajin will be across from you, but what was with the little piece of business we saw up there, Boots?
No, I just was, you know, staring into his eyes, seeing what he got, you know, it's going to be, just make sure y'all tune in. That's all I'm going to say, man. Just tune in and don't miss this beautiful show and this knockout, man. I'm ready to have some fun. I can't wait, man.
Hey, 145. What happened with that? You cut a little extra. You didn't have to go that far.
No, I mean, I woke up this morning and my scale said 46.6 or something like that. So I ate a little bit, drunk a little bit, came here and just said 45.8. So I was like,
I told him you just stay in the gym. You stay in the gym. That's why you look like that.
Yeah, and you see, I still got energy and everything. Like, I'm smiling, having fun. Like, this camp, it felt like I didn't lose no weight. Like, I just felt normal the whole time. It was like a great camp. You know, I had fun. You know, I'm ready.
Boots, I saw you grow on Showbox. You know, tell us the difference between Boots back then and now, and how important is it for you to? I mean, you're like the co-main event on a super card, you know, fight Gervonta Davis undercard. How important is it for you to look good and end this fight by a knockout?
Me looking good, you know, on this big stage, you know, fighting on my first pay-per-view is going to be everything, you know. So I got to, you know, do everything to a T, you know, be smart, have fun. Don't look for the knockout, you know, just be sharp, be smooth, and I make a big statement, you know, on tomorrow night. You know, it's going to be, I feel like it's going to be up. It's going to be, you know, bigger and better. You know, who knows? I could be, you know, a headliner pay-per-view myself. So all I got to do is, you know, just do me. And then the big difference between me now and back then in Showbox, you know, I'm a lot more settled in, calmer now, and, you know, just, you know, developing. You know, I'm getting to, you know, that grown man mark, you know, not playing around as much, you know, and just still having my fun, but not like playing around too much and being a, you know, a grown man now, you know.
I think you never been past 6 rounds with it. Are you going to go back past 6 rounds tomorrow?
We'll see what he presents.
I think he's saying bet the under. Well, we do praise you for the poise, the maturity you've shown. It's just 24 years old. But my partner in crime, Luke Thomas, has often described you as inevitable. You're going to be inevitable for the elite welterweights that you're knocking on the door from a mandatory opponent status, and you've got the interim IBF welterweight title as the stakes for this one. Is this the last time we're going to be talking about how avoided you are when it comes to the larger elite picture at 147 pounds?
I feel like this is the last time you guys are going to hear that. I feel like me winning on Saturday night and doing it in a knockout fashion, I feel like it's going to put me right there at you know, #1, and you can't turn away from me now.
You gotta come see you.
You gotta see me. Like I got the interim belt now. So whether it's Errol Spence or whether it's Bud or whoever else, like I said before, I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward. So I want to fight guys that's that got the belts or somebody with a name. You know, that's about it. You know, I'm looking forward, not in the past.
I mean, I can make a million fantasy matchups that I want to see you, and I know you probably have some of your own the same, but you got to handle this business on Saturday. But Steck, you spent some time with this man. You went behind the scenes in fight camp. You know what it takes to be a champion. What did you learn about his makeup?
Well, I think for me, the dedication. You know, I've always admired you boxers, and I always admired boxers, how they dedicate themselves. You fight twice a year, but you stay in great shape. To see him work the way he worked every day, and also he gave his time to the other young boxers in the gym, it meant a lot to me. But that gym was different because he is the guy in that gym, but everybody in that gym is family. And you see why everybody coming out the gym is really excited, and they support him so much.
Boots, we always fill up the airwaves telling people that you're coming, that you're here, that the future is now. Why do you believe, though, that you're referred to as being this special compared to the other guys in this division, the other guys in this sport right now? What makes you special in your eyes?
Because I'm just different from these other guys. You know, like everybody know that I stay in the gym. You know, I stay in the gym, I stay hungry, and after I win on tomorrow night, I'm gonna be right back in the gym on Monday. You know, I love doing what I do. You know, it's hard to be somebody doing that. You know, doing what they love. Like this boxing stuff is fun for me. Like, I don't do it for the money. I do it because I love beating people up. I love having fun. Love entertaining the crowd, my friends and my family. You know, this stuff fun to me. You know, so, yeah.
Luke, he's an artist. He's got the swag with it.
Speaking of fun, did you have anything fun planned for your walkout? You gonna do something different, something a little interesting there?
Speaking of the walkout, my man Stack, you want to walk me out?
Oh, man. Hey, bro, I'm going to tell you this. It's an honor to walk you out, bro. We built a great relationship.
Yeah,
it's an honor,
appreciate
bro.
you,
I would
man.
love to.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
There you go, Stack. You didn't know you were going to be busy tomorrow.
That's an honor. That's an honor.
Yeah.
Texas at the house here.
That's an honor.
You got to have my guy walk me out. Walk out with me, man.
All right.
Appreciate
honor.
you.
Karen Chukajin, he's across from you. I'm sure you've crunched the tape, you and your team. What are you expecting when it comes to this matchup on Saturday?
I mean, well, like I always say, I let my team do that. You know, I don't really focus on that. You know, I just listen to what my pop tell me to do when I'm sparring and hitting the bag and sharing shots he want me to do to pinpoint, you know, the win, the victory, to secure the knockout, and that's what we've been doing this whole camp.
Fair enough. You didn't look at any tape at all?
Nah.
Wow. Don't even, just going in blind.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
Study Mike Tyson. Yeah, study Mike Tyson a lot. Yeah, Iron Mike.
What does that mean to study Mike? Like, what have you done? You've just been watching old interviews? Like what?
No, I just been watching like a lot of his highlights, you know, and in certain ways he be moving in to get to that distance, you know, and finding his distance and doubling up them shots with the same hand and things like that, you know, shots that guys don't expect, you know, and y'all gonna see tomorrow.
So if you've been studying Mike Tyson, that means this fight's gonna go short. I mean, Mike Tyson, come on, don't blink, don't blink,
don't blink at all.
Don't go to the refrigerator, go get a drink.
Don't go to the refrigerator. Don't look for your phones, none of that. Make sure you keep your eyes on the TV.
That's right.
Boots,
That's right.
I mean, we can sit here and talk about how great you are, but we're itching to see you match against the very best to have your chance to prove that. How do you stay so patient? Because you're always so chill. You know, you're not out here necessarily going on social media and saying, hey, Spence, Crawford, Thurman, line up. Where are you at? You just sort of sit back and play it cool.
I mean, I know it. The key is being patient. You know, I got to be patient, but at the same time, I can't keep being patient no more. You know, I'm hungry. And like I said before, my time is now. I've been ready. I was ready 2-3 years ago, but the longer they keep waiting, the worse it's going to get. But we want them now. We want them now. So that's, you know, I'm gonna handle business on Saturday night and make, you know, not looking past this guy and, you know, and do my thing. We're gonna make it happen.
Are you gonna have a message on your trunks at all? Mr. Catch a Body, that kind of thing again? You gonna do that?
You gotta wait and see. We gotta wait and see tomorrow.
We're gonna see. Tomorrow's a big day. We're gonna see.
Tomorrow definitely a big day. I can't wait. I'm real excited.
Boots, if you had it your way after this fight, if you win this fight, Crawford, Spence, we got Stanones, Virgil, who would you want? Be honest. Who would you want? Tell the camera who you want.
Next, realistically, everybody know I want Spence next. You know, because that's put me right in line. You know, I'm fighting for the IBF interim, and we want that next. But if we can't get him, we can go to Bud. If we can't get Bud, give me the winner, Virgil Ortiz and Stan Jonas. We can't get him, I'll take Ugas or Keith Thurman. You know, somebody with a name. I just don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward, and if I could fight all the guys.
Line them up, huh?
Back to back. That's what I would do because I'm a fighter and that's what I love to do. And I want to go down history, you know, as one of the best. You know, I want to be an all-time legend. And, you know, I want to have great names on my resume and beat all world champions and things like that. Go up and down weight classes and be undisputed at 47, 54, 60, maybe even 68. You know,
wow.
You know, I got a big agenda ahead, a lot of goals. You know, and I'm ready. I'm ready to take it over.
All right, we know you're also a student of the game, so student of the game. So put your analyst hat on. Tank Davis, Hector Luis Garcia, a guy that the real boxing fans know exactly what he brings to the table. What's this fight going to look like stylistically?
I actually like this fight. It's a good fight. You know, Hector Garcia not bad, but I think Tank gonna get him in 3 or 4.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Get him out of there early.
What do you think is gonna be the difference? The power?
I think Tank just gonna be too strong and too smart for him and. Hector good, but I don't think he's good enough for Tank. You know,
Not many are.
Yeah,
Tank has a lot of finesse. He has a lot of finesse in this game.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go in the building first, throw the first bomb, and then we got Tank right at me.
I'll be right on the side of you, bro. Right on the side of you.
Yeah.
Another young prospect, Brandon Lee, described you on the stage yesterday as a video game fighter. When you hear those kind of superlatives, how do you feel?
I mean, I feel great. You know, I get all those different type of things. Everybody say I'm a creative character. You know, because I can do it all. You know, I'm like I say I'm a variety pack. You know, I got everything. I got speed, defense, power. You know, I'm slick. I can fight on the inside. I got foot movement. I'm like, you put your hand in the bag of chips and, you know, pick your favorite one. However you want it, I give it to you that way, you know.
All right,
that's how I feel.
We know, I got to put you on the spot here. We know the relationship with Steven Jackson came down to your fight town, to your camp. I saw a little bit of the teaser where he put the gloves on and you were catching him and throwing.
Yeah.
Now, look, I've actually seen Stack fight in his other original day job, and I know enough to love and respect and not mess with my man here.
I look better in the stands than I did in the ring.
Boots, can you break down Stack's game right now? Okay?
No, it's Stack's definitely. You could tell you rangy, good, tall. You know, he athletic, so it's bound to happen. If he do it every day, he'll pick it up like this.
Oh wow!
But a lot of basketball players, when they come in, to the boxing gym and things like that, they pick it up fast because they're athletic already. Some of them be a little tight and stiff, but once they get that tight and stiff looseness out of them, and get loose, they'd be fine. You know,
like Chad, Chad.
Chad was stiff. You know, now he got loose, got a little swag. But all you gotta do is find your own rhythm, get your swag, and then you'll be fine. But Stack's gonna be cool.
Brian, they can't find your swag. It's not. It doesn't exist.
Stack got that dog in him? He's got the dog.
Definitely got that dog.
We can't wait to see you showcase what's inside of you Saturday night, the IBF interim welterweight title. Peren Chukajin, it's Jerron Boots, and it's a pleasure. We've enjoyed watching your rise. Go get them.
Future.
Come Saturday night. The future is now right here, ladies and gentlemen. But a loaded pay-per-view card, top to bottom on Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Showtime pay-per-view.
When I get off here, I'm going to call you.
And why not get ahead of it right now? Jerron Boots, Ennis, thank you very much. Showtime.com/PPV to get on it. Order the pay-per-view right now. 4-fight main card. We've got Demetrius Andrade moving over to the PBC and making his debut at 168. And some other must-see matchups. But let's talk about the other half of that scenario for Saturday night's main event. One of the Fighter of the Year nominees for 2022 from the Dominican Republic, unbeaten Hector Luis Garcia. Martin Bader will translate. Andrade in the house. We have seen from you confidence galore this week. Some people are wondering, is the stage going to be too bright for you, the pressure? How are you doing on the inside heading into your biggest test to date?
Héctor, te notamos muy confiado durante esta semana, pero hay gente que cree que quizás el escenario, la magnitud de esta pelea podría ser quizás demasiado grande para vos. ¿Cómo te sentís vos por dentro, en tu corazón, de cara al desafío de tu vida?
Bueno, sí, primero darle gracias a Dios por la oportunidad. Realmente me siento así, confiable con la experiencia que tengo en mi carrera de boxeo. Eso de presión y esas cosas, psicológicamente ya eso viene eso es de atrás, muy atrás. Ya ahora mismo me siento confiable por la experiencia que tengo.
The pressure is behind me. Right now, I feel good. I feel confident. It's no act. I feel like I am capable of absolutely anything tomorrow night. Everything is in front of me, and I plan to take advantage of it.
So let me ask, the weigh-in yesterday, there was a little pushing, a little shoving, a little Philly shell. Talk me through it from your perspective, Hector. What did you see from Tank, and what did you make of what happened?
Bueno, contanos qué te pareció ese momento de ayer con el empujón de Gervonta. ¿Cuáles fueron tus sensaciones cuando pasó todo eso? ¿Qué te pareció él cuando hizo eso?
Bueno, todos los boxeadores actúan diferentes y son diferentes. Yo soy de la persona que realmente demuestro lo que tengo que demostrar encima del ring, no bajo. ¿Me entiendes? Pero todos los boxeadores son diferentes y eso me puso más vivo. Me puso más alerta para estar en mi pelea. Porque realmente estaba un poquito relajado, pero ahora estoy serio. Si hoy habíamos estado más cerca, en el face-to-face puede ser que yo pudiera actuar porque ya me puso ya atento, ya me puso realmente me puso en tiempo de pelea.
Look, I really have to thank Gervonta really because he woke me up. When I was up there, I was a little relaxed maybe in the beginning, but when he shot me the way he did, he woke me up. He lit that fire under me, those competitive juices. So today, during the face-off, I was more alert in case anything happened. Nothing did, but I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like the pre-fight antics. I like to show what I'm capable of inside the ring, and that's what I'm going to do tomorrow night.
Hector, can you tell us why it's you, the one that's going to pull off the upset? What are you going to have to do to avoid Tank's big bombs? He's only gone the distance twice. He knocks out everybody. Tell us why.
Gervonta solo lleva la campana final 2 veces. ¿Qué te hace pensar que vos no solo vas a llegar a la campana final, sino que sos capaz de dar el batacazo, sorprender al mundo y tener el brazo alzado al final de la pelea?
Bueno, sí, realmente para mí no es una sorpresa esto, sino para el mundo, porque yo realmente sé quién soy y sé para lo que soy capaz de hacer ante cualquier rival como Gervonta Davis. Yo me preparo para pelear los 12 rounds. En esto no hay nada de Cristo, cualquier cosa puede pasar antes de los 12 rounds. Yo me preparo física y mentalmente para lo que sea posible.
Nothing is written in boxing. The future isn't told. I'll be ready to fight all 12 rounds and let the world be surprised if it wants to. But if I win, I'm not going to be surprised. I know what I can do.
Well, look, we know the plans that Gervonta Tank Davis hopes he has, which is Ryan Garcia come April with a victory over you. What are your plans, however, with a victory handing the first loss to Tank Davis?
Todos le preguntan a Gervonta cuáles son tus planes después de ganar. Te viste que todos piensan en el futuro, pero nadie te pregunta a vos cuáles serían tus planes para el futuro si le ganás a Gervonta Davis y tu carrera cambia de una manera singular.
Bueno, sí, mi carrera categóricamente cambia definitivamente en todo, tanto como carrera como en lo particular en mi país, ya a nivel mundial. Ganarle a Gervonta Davis para mí sería un gran logro,
My life will change completely. I'm well aware of that. And the thing that makes me the happiest really is that when I win, my whole country is going to change too. And it's going to mean a lot to the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. I won a championship in Pueblo Nuevo in Dominican Republic, so I know how prideful the people are there. How great would it feel to have a championship bringing it back home?
Bueno, que él supo ganar un campeonato en la República Dominicana, conoce la pasión de tu país. ¿Qué tanto significaría para vos el saber que ganaste un campeonato mundial de este calibre para tu país?
Bueno, mira, cuando lo escuché a él hasta me engranó. Me engranó los pelos porque realmente me siento orgulloso de ser dominicano y representar lindamente a mi República Dominicana en tierra extranjera. Y me siento también agradecido con Estados Unidos, con la compañía PPV, Showtime que me ha dado la oportunidad, y por eso hoy en día estoy aquí, porque realmente estaba oscuro, pero no había demostrado, o sea, realmente lo que soy, porque no me habían dado la oportunidad hasta que me la dieron. Dominicana se siente muy orgullosa de donde yo estoy ahora mismo, representando a mi país en un evento tan importante como este, por PPVs.
You gave me goosebumps. And don't get me wrong, I'm really thankful with PBC, Showtime Boxing, and the United States as a country, because I hadn't been given an opportunity like this until now. PBC and Showtime put me on the path to be where I am now. Yeah. So I am eternally thankful for that. Yeah. But winning this for the Dominican Republic, I mean, that's just another level where it will fill me with pride, and I know that people will be so happy. So I have to do everything I can in order to make them happy. That's my mission.
I can imagine, because when I won the championship, they carried me from the arena to my hotel. So I know they're going to really celebrate if it happens.
Cuando él ganó el campeonato, lo llevaron en andas desde el estadio hasta el hotel. Así que imagínate lo que va a hacer.
El Dominicana se disfruta. El Dominicana para mí es el mejor país porque no hay leyes. Las leyes se aplican cuando quieren aplicarlas, pero allá se disfruta, se goza, se vive 24/7. Dominicana por completo, eso es bonito, algo muy bonito.
Well, you know how it is. It's a beautiful country. Yes. 24/7 enjoyment, party, happiness. That's you know, there are no rules, and if there are rules, there are only happy rules. So we're happy people.
I'm sure the Dominican Republic will be celebrating just like your home nation on the World Cup win. Congratulations. But Hector, you earned this. We wish you well. We cannot wait to see this fight on Saturday.
Thank you so much. Te deseamos todo lo mejor y esperamos verte este sábado. Te deseamos todo lo mejor.
Okay, gracias. Quiero enviarle un grato saludo a toda mi República Dominicana, específicamente a mi provincia de San Juan de la Maguana, a mis entrenadores de base que me iniciaron, Marino Minaya, Ñoño, a toda mi fanaticada, a toda mi familia de allá de San Juan de la Maguana, que esperen lo mejor de mí como siempre lo he estado haciendo.
Thank you guys very much, and I want to send a very warm greeting to everyone in the Dominican Republic, to my city, to the trainers, to the people that allowed me to forge my career and be where I am ever since I was a kid. So thank you, everybody, because I love you all.
Thank you so much, Hector Luis Garcia, the last reigning gaucho, Martin Vader, on the pronunciations. As we continue to look ahead to Saturday night's fight, 9 p.m. Eastern, the Showtime pay-per-view card begins. Luke Thomas and myself, 6:45 Eastern.
That's right.
On the Showtime Sports YouTube channel. It's Showtime pay-per-view countdown, a trio of fights to whet the appetite. We're talking about unbeaten Brandon Lee, Vito Melnick Jr., the 20-year-old prospect. So much to look forward to. Main event time, guys, and let's drive this thing home. What's this fight going to look like? Who wins and all that? Stack, let's start right here. We know that a big part of Hector Luis Garcia pulling the upset is avoiding the big-time power. That's the most looming danger that Gervonta brings to here. Is it as simple as that for Garcia? Survive the big shots, stay away from that, and then suddenly this could be a trap fight. This could be a 50-50 affair.
Yeah, it is that simple, but he still has to go out there and do it. I think Tank each fight he gets better at baiting guys in.
Mm-hmm.
He gets better at baiting guys in. I think if this fight going to end quick, he's going to make a mistake early. But this guy seems focused. His last couple of fights, he's shown that he belong. He belongs in this position he's in right now. So we're going to see if he's up for the game. But I'm thinking Tank will knock him out early.
I think Tank can knock him out early. I do believe this, Raul and Stack. Here's where I'm at on this. I think that Tank needs to show some patience. He showed, some patience against Rolly Romero. He told me to my face, hey, Rolly can thump a little bit. I had to be wary of that, so he made the right call. Against a guy like this Garcia, who, by the way, southpaw, feints, fakes, all kinds of different looks, good at setting angles, can sometimes be a volume puncher. You can't give too much of the fight away, but if you chase a guy like that, he can set traps too. He's pretty clever. I think Tank's going to have to get a read about what this guy actually wants to do, and then once he's got it all downloaded, then go for the attack, not too early.
Raul,
It might not be able to read him early.
Yeah. Right.
It might go late.
I like the question you asked about to Garcia himself and said, we know if Tank's going to get this done, it's going to be setting up those power punches and getting the finish. But how does Hector Garcia potentially do this?
I think it's going to be a chess match early on. He's going to have to give him movement, good defense. Again, the way he attacks, he's got to be very careful, on point the whole time, very focused. Because Tank, like you said, he's getting better at timing. He lets you grow. He sets you up. He just got that experience. The first half of the fight, I see it being a chess match, kind of close fight. I believe Tank's strength, he's naturally the bigger guy. He's fought as high as 140 pounds. Garcia's coming up from 130 to 135. He's never fought anybody as strong as Tank is and has the power that Tank does. I think in the second half of the fight, Tank's body strength, just his man strength, he's naturally the bigger guy, will take over and maybe knock him out. I see the fight going the distance. I'm going to call it distance fight.
I will say this. Gervonta's power carries late.
He
carries late, so he doesn't have to. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't have to rush it. He can do not whatever he wants, but if he wants a more patient game plan, if he wants to see what everything's got, if he wants to download all the information, he can do all those kinds of things. He's capable of that kind of a fight. And this is what I mean. Gervonta, when I spoke with him, and I know you know this as well, he doesn't mind being known for his power, but he doesn't want to be only known for his power. He also wants the folks to recognize he can set traps, to your point about baiting guys in. Right. He can be the guy who can dominantly set angles. His timing has gotten better. So I really think that I think Gervonta will win, but I believe he has to be more than just I'm bigger and stronger. Let's set it up. Let's take our time. Let's find the opening with smarts and brawn.
Well, it comes down to a great game plan, and let's bring in the mastermind behind that. As big of a year as Hector Luis Garcia had in 2022, how about this trainer, Bob Santos, a longtime guy in this game, many different areas, but you're bringing it to the forefront now as the head chief in, 3-4 different world champions at the moment. Congratulations on your success, Bob. When you look at the challenge ahead for Hector against somebody as sublime, as dangerous, as spectacular as Gervonta, what are the keys to victory of what you can share with us?
Well, I think I've said it, and I'll say it again. The key to victory is going to be his amateur pedigree. They're underestimating that. This guy has 400 amateur fights, okay, at an Olympic level, right? This guy trained with the Russians in Russia. I mean, how durable do you got to be to go to Russia and stay there for a couple months and go against those types of guys? Training in Cuba for a lot of years. And so that's going to be the key to victory. And I think a lot of people are overlooking the fact that Hector's left-handed. How many left-handers has Tank been in within his career as opposed to Hector? I don't know, but I'd venture to say I'm probably sure Hector's been in with a little bit more left-handers than Tank's been in with, over his amateur and professional career. So, again, Hector can do things on a plethora of different ways, inside, outside. He can float. He can go backwards. He can do a lot of different things. So we'll be setting a lot of traps for Tank, too. Everybody just thinks Tank has the only high IQ here. Hector Luis Garcia has got a high IQ, too.
Bob, what is the best explanation? Because I got the wake-up call on him when he beat Chris Colbert. I was like, whoa, okay, this is no accident, right? I mean, he beat him pillar to post. But why was the boxing world sleeping on Hector Luis Garcia? What happened that people didn't realize he was as good as he was?
Well, obviously, he just didn't have the opportunity. When you come from a foreign country, you're from the Dominican Republic, and sometimes you don't get access to opportunities. But I always tell my fighters, hey, stay in the gym, stay ready. And some guys may get 5, 6, 7, 8 opportunities. You may only get one, and you got to make the most of it. And that's what he did on 19 days' notice.
Bob, what weaknesses do you see in Tank that Hector Garcia could capitalize on?
You know, I think Tank's a complete fighter, obviously. You know, in this game, you know better than anybody, one punch can change anything, and it can change what your plan is and alter the course of an entire fight. But that being said, I don't see any weaknesses really in Tank. You know, I think he's very underrated boxer. I think he has a high IQ. You know, I wasn't just giving hyperbole. I do think pound for pound, he's one of the best fighters in the sport. To me, he's one of the most dynamic punchers that we've ever had, you know, in the lower weight classes. He has a good jab. He can go inside. He can go outside. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize I've had 3 of my other fighters spar with Tank, so I've watched him probably over 100 rounds in sparring. So I know him very, very well. And so I've seen him do a lot of things in sparring that he hasn't shown in fights, but I think Hector's going to bring out the best in him. He's going to bring out the best in Hector.
Plus, he had Mario Barrios in camp, right? Sparring with Hector Garcia.
Well, you know, Mario obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, I had him. You know, I took him from his first pro fight to #1 in the world, and then obviously, you know, went a different direction for a while. He's back with me now. But that being said, I'll tell you something about Hector Garcia, and you probably know this as well as anybody as a former fighter and world champion. You know, Hector, a lot of fighters will be like, wow, how was his punching power? How was his speed? How was this? You know, and even you as a guy who played top-notch hoots, how was this guy, you know, when you haven't faced him? So that being said, Hector never did that. And that tells you a lot about the psyche of him as a fighter. I don't care what he brings to the table. You know, other guys are, well, how's his power? How's this? Never concerned him. In his mind, hey, I've been in with, you know, 400 amateur fights. I've seen it all. Been there, done that. So I'm not concerned with it. And we're going to implement what we got to implement, and we're going to dictate to him.
That attitude is, I'm not worrying about what he's doing. As long as I control and take and do what I came to do, what I worked on in training camp. If I do what I have to do in the ring, it doesn't matter what he does. Is that the attitude he has?
110%. And a lot of fighters, like I said, you don't find that. They're like, how was his punching power? How was this? How was that? Barrios did come up to him and talk to him for about 30 seconds, you know, as a guy in our gym, just to say, hey, you know, I thought this. He's a pretty good puncher, so on and so forth. And Hector was obviously responsive and respectful, but that conversation lasted about 30 seconds. And they both went their separate direction and back to work.
Bob, what do you make of the size difference such that it exists? I have to tell you, when they face off, doesn't look like a big size difference at all between them.
Well, you know, obviously Tank doesn't have a great height advantage. We all know that. Hence the nickname Shorty, huh?
Yeah.
But that being said, he's thick-boned. He's a strong guy. I've seen Tank in there with 47-pounders and stopped them. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say any names, but I've seen him in there with a very durable 54-pounder. I was actually there when he stopped him. So he's a very, very strong puncher and solid in that way. Now, Hector's coming up. Obviously, he was at 26. He only did maybe 3 or 4 fights at 30. But you could see he's a solid guy his own self, and we've had him in our gym. Like I said, you don't survive in our gym. Guys like Carlos Adames, world champion, he's an absolute killer. Now, Alberto Puello, the 140-pound world champion that we have a plethora of guys that can really go in our gym. So you don't survive in that gym unless you're pretty solid yourself.
Great work with Andre Durrell, just the same, correct? I mean, you've been popping up everywhere. But look, I thought you and Hector kind of won this week. You showed out your confidence level, your professionalism, all of that. But it was an unnatural build to this with the headlines, Tank, the legal trouble outside of it. Does any of that change? Because so much of this game is mental. And I thought Hector really stood up and said, you know, I belong here. I know it. Nothing's going to be a problem. With Tank, though, with everything going on, do you expect any distractions to play into this?
No, I don't, because at the end of the day, we all got things going on in our personal life, whether it was Robert Guerrero that I had helped train and manage to a world championship when his wife was, you know, dying of cancer. So everybody's got something that they got to deal with. And you know, I don't know Tank personally. I don't know much about his childhood, but I could almost bet, just like Hector came from adversity, not having shoes till you're 10 years old. A lot of times in my own background, sometimes we function better in chaos. Sometimes, and you know, when everything's going just right, something's wrong. And when everything's outside of you, you know, in a whirlwind, you seem to hone in better. So I think we're going to see the best of Gervonta Davis.
All right, I want to give you a minute to get your flowers here, because you've had such a breakout run of late and doing great work with many different fighters. We saw you with David Burrell and Ronnie Shields as well. I mean, you're helping out everywhere. What has been the key for you in really getting the recognition you've long deserved this year and having so much success? You've got some great, hungry young fighters that you've been behind, but something's changed big in the Bob Santos household to make such a great year last year.
Well, you know, I always want to give credit to my cousin Louis Molina, fought in the 1956 Olympics and brought my whole family into the sport of boxing. So I've been a lifer in boxing. But, you know, I've never been a guy that really tooted my own horn. And so some people behind me said, hey, Bob, you know, you got to do the interviews. You got to do some of these things because a lot of times you've helped a lot of guys become world champions and you've never gotten, you know, any kind of shine and so forth. And I said, you know, like my mother always said, you know, you work hard, sooner or later that shine will come. But with this day and age with social media and so forth, and my kids now coming up in the sport, they're like, come on, Pops. You know, you got to do some things and so forth. I think that's the big difference.
Well, you deserve to be here as much as Hector. And
don't dance on TikTok. That's it.
All right, imagine what he could have done with your talent. You know, what
Never
I'm saying?
know.
You know, say, hey, did pretty well yourself.
Bad timing.
Bob Santos, we'll see you Saturday night. Thanks for everything. Best of luck to you.
Thank you, guys. God bless you.
Can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
Can't wait.
Good luck, man.
It's going to be a barn burner, all-time classic.
You've convinced me. It's going to be a good one.
They're welcoming all the smoke there. And Steven Jackson, the transition. We all seem to kind of feel like we know what this fight may look like. There's a lot of different characteristics, a big opportunity for Tank, but not something he can look past. I love the respect everybody's shown. But if Tank gets this victory, what does this say about him and where he's at in the arc he's going in his career?
Well, for me, for him to pick a fight this tough, you know, with Ryan Garcia looming, you know, it says a lot about Tank because this is not an easy fight. You know what I mean?
It's not a tune-up.
It's not a tune-up.
It's not a sparring match. I mean,
right. And I agree with you on that. So just the fact that he would take a tough fight like this, I think it shows the respect he has for Ryan.
Yeah.
Because he knows he really has to be on his A game for Ryan Garcia. And we all love Ryan. And that's the fight we want to see. So hopefully Tank can get through this one. And we'll be there at the weigh-in for that one as well.
From one Garcia to another, best laid plans. But we know in boxing there's a history of best laid plans getting flipped upside down and thrown. We can't wait for it. Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Showtime pay-per-view. You can head to showtime.com/PPV right now. Get ahead of the game, order it. Set up, you know, a couple chips and dips on the side, a couple friends there. But we've had fun setting you up here in the weigh-in ahead of Saturday for Luke Thomas, Steven Jackson of All the Smoke, Raul Marquez, El Diamante. One of the best fight
and the award winners.
Award winners here. Brian Campbell, one half your morning combat duet. Thank you so much for the time. Enjoy the fights this Saturday. Showtime pay-per-view is going to be a rockin' here in D.C.
We are charged to protect these kids.
I'm a police officer for North Minneapolis and coach for North High School. These kids don't trust cops.
It's definitely a difficult time right now.
Kind of weird, but I'm building bonds with police.
The violence is nonstop. You can hear the gunshots. When them lights flicker at 7 o'clock, you ain't hearing none of that.
It's getting more exciting by the day from the standpoint of this main event Saturday night.
This is the official press conference for Davis versus Garcia.
I've said it, I'll say it again. I think Gervonta, pound for pound, is one of the best fighters in the sport. Hector's ready. It's going to be an all-time classic.
This ain't no tune-up right here. This a fight. This is what we made for.
Saturday night, you definitely don't want to miss this one. This one's going to be a tough fight on his end.
Hector, tell the people why you took this challenge.
I took this challenge because I always want to surpass my own limits and go after the very best.
Put your seatbelt on, because Gervonta Tank Davis is going to bring that heat that night. Everybody put their hands up saying this kid ain't getting his props like he's supposed to be getting.
So I give Tank all the props in the world. Pound for pound, he's one of the best fighters in the world. For me, I give him this prop.
He definitely ain't looking past this guy. He's tough. This will prepare me for the Ryan fight.
I'm the real Garcia. I don't care who he's focused on because I know I'm the true challenge.
The last word I want to say to Hector, just be ready. Just don't make a lot of mistakes, because if you make too many, it might be an early night.